In 1976, a former avant-garde jazz singer with a commanding multi-octave range became one of the hottest new signings on Philadelphia International Records. I am talking about Jean Carn, and from her PIR debut album, self-titled, the track I'm in Love Once Again. Okay, the lavish open strings and open cadences and rhythmless so far, we know that something about really grand is about to emerge.
Every day it seems everything's a dream, and I don't want to wake up now.
Notice how her voice just went really high as the chords went really low.
Afraid somehow you might disappear. Feel me deep inside, so you realize just how much I care for you.
Yeah, hear how she goes like really high and her voice kind of quivers, and yet she maintains her command. She doesn't go into like any falsetto. She doesn't. It's all just so natural and kind of like effortless. And also notice the musical detail, the tinkly piano amid the strings.
It's been so long since I cared at all.
Yeah, and that the way her voice just kind of like flutters and yet holds.
Would you like to be my friend until the very end?
Yeah, and hear her go into those low tones and
Please try and understand what's happened to me.
God, she can just really kind of quiver, kind of flutter, and yet without like overdoing it. It's just
I'm in love once again. I'm in love once again.
lavish chorus.
Don't you know that I'm in love once again?
Really fold out, open up, lavish, like swelling chorus.
I'm in love once again.
Hear those strings, how they're like perforating above everything.
All along I tried not to care inside for someone to hurt me again.
That is such a great like vocal line, the way it just like rises. As the
I know the pain, want to love me more. But you come along with a love so strong that I hardly believe it's true.
I love how the verse just unfolds so much.
I need more than before. Would you like to be my friend?
Yeah, a lot of development before we get to that anthemic chorus. It's like every part of this is like so well developed. We've got the fold out verses that display her range, and then we have this like shift of cadence in this bridge section.
The very you can make love till then. Let's start right now. I'm in love once again.
Really melodramatic.
Don't you know that I'm in love
Hear that harp?
once again? I'm in love once again.
She's so confident as a vocalist. It's like she could be showing off her virtuosity, but she just instead lets it just kind of ooze out subtly.
I'll tell you I'm in love once again.
Okay, I got to introduce a few people here. This is arranged by Jack Faith, who also arranged, was responsible for the arrangements on records by the Stylistics, the Delphonics, the Moonglows, the Spinners, and even Swamp Dog. Yeah, so he got around the Philly soul scene, even if only like one of those was technically Philly soul. And this was written and produced by Dexter Wansel. And you know what? I can kind of hear a passing resemblance to some of the symphonic arrangements on Life on Mars, the album that he put out on PIR that year. I did a video on a prophet named KG several months ago. Yeah. Hear that real clean cocktail guitar? I like how the bridge just kind of emerged from that instrumental version of the verse.
Please try and understand what's happened to me.
Each different part of the song, it's like she explores kind of like a different, or she runs kind of like a different gamut. Like during the verses, she was going from kind of like mid range to like really high. Then during the bridges, she was going from kind of like mid range to somewhat lower. And
All I know is I'm in love once again. Can't you see that I'm in love once again?
it's almost like she could sound like two different people. Like when she goes into those, like when she says like again on that word, she hits those lower notes, and then versus when she gets more up, kind of like into Denise Williams range.
I'm in love once again. I'm in love once again.
Yeah, I mean, if she wanted to, she could totally like in one moment be like Phyllis Hyman or Angela Bofill, like down in the lower ranges, or like Denise Williams or Minnie Riperton up in the real high range if she wanted to.
Once again.
Light piano over like the open cadence, kind of airy symphonic. Well, kind of like open strings anyway. The rhythmic component is rather kind of tight, rather. The piano was just getting slightly kind of jazzier toward the end. It was a nice fade out touch. Yeah, that was I'm in Love Once Again, epic symphonic soul number by Jean Carn from her 1976 debut solo album. And a lot of talent on board for this one. A few of the tracks, let's see, I guess it's like about two-thirds produced by Dexter Wansel and a third, no, I guess it's about half produced by Wansel and the other half produced by Gamble and Huff. Let's hear another track from the album. The Gamble and Huff produced No Laughing Matter. Beautiful chords, very kind of plaintive beginning, and that bass kind of just pulsating slightly, boom, boom, boom. Beautiful strings over some like major seventh chords, and
This love we have is gone laughing better. It's as serious as can be.
one almost wouldn't have expected something like this, like closed cadence for the verses, like based on what we heard the beginning. I having not entirely remembered this accurately. I guess I kind of was expecting kind of like a stylistic type ballad or something, but yeah, this once again really shows her range. It shows the command she takes the moment she steps in, and just the lavish arrangements, and just this track is written by Gamble and Huff. Yeah, she had really top quality, top of the line pick of the material on this one.
This love we have is gone laughing better. It's so serious, you and me.
And now she's like exploring more kind of her lower range and just letting those notes kind of like waver, and yet maintaining control, and just being really kind of like laid back the whole time.
Life is too precious to let it dwindle away.
When you think of it, it's so amazing how effortless, like the real singer, the singers who had a real command of such a wide range could sound back in the days. I mean, later on, I mean, you would get a whole nother generation of singers who were obviously really forcing it and overdoing it. But that's not to get sidetracked on that.
We don't have no time to foolishly play.
Oh, hear that really kind of high, bright, sweet tone. Yeah, this one in the strings. This track 2 is arranged by Jack Faith.
Leave you when the words would say a relationship true. 'Cause I'm building my whole world around loving you.
She can really do some voices. Notice they appreciate the rhythm component to this too. That bass, that kind of steady pulsating bass, and the light yet consistent like tapping.
This love we have is gone laughing better.
Boom, boom, boom.
It's as serious as can be.
Her it seems like the piano's kind of mimicking or kind of like following her starting notes.
Together we can learn, together we can change. Never losing sight of our precious goals.
Hear that little flute in there amid the synth strings.
All of life's beauty and treasures, they're right here in our reach. So let's keep this thing on the level. Let's keep it on the line.
Can you tell the difference between like real strings and synth like a synth string setting when the two kind of like meld together and like one, like you hear these like lavish like soft strings in the background, and then this more kind of cold sound kind of like beckons in.
It's as serious as can be.
Oh God, she is really just exercising it. Beautiful chord progression. It was going like I think a G minor, C, F major 7. Just appreciate the vocal like acrobatics.
It's as serious as can be.
Here, just like open up those vowels and like almost like unpeel the vowels in a way.
It's all we have is love, left it better. It's so serious and be.
It's almost like origami of the larynx.
It's all we have is love, left it better.
Or more like a fan, like opening up like a fan.
It's as serious as can be.
Now we're getting a little bit more persistent. Yeah, a little bit more thrust.
It's as serious as can be.
I love those instrumental takes on the vocal melody. Oh, a composition, conceived and executed in the classic mode of writing. Back in the day when a theme would come through divine inspiration, or sometimes through luck, just, playing around on an instrument, be it a piano. Piano was quite common source, and then just find that melody and develop it and just build a whole like castle of sound around it. Yeah, both this song and the last just so full-bodied in compositional structure and just all the right, instrumental nuances, just building this into something greater than the sum of their parts. And then, of course, a marvelous, lovely voice, one of the industry's finest, Jean Carn, No Laughing Matter. And before that, I'm in Love Once Again. Two fantastic songs from one of the finest soul albums of 1976. The self-titled debut album by Jean Carn, released on Philadelphia International Records. Jean Carn, who had been heard previously on a few albums by her, I guess by this point, ex-husband, Doug Carn, on the black jazz label. Doug Carn, who had recorded a few like albums in the spiritual jazz vein for black jazz records in the early 70s. And so a woman already of incredible range had gone from avant-garde jazz to lavish, like symphonic soul, like as you heard here. And she would release a few more records on PIR, TSOP, between 1978 and 1981, and then released a few more records on Sword labels during the 1980s. And yeah, a few more, like her third and fourth album were also really strong. Yeah, when I find you love and sweet and wonderful were both, yeah, all three of those two and this are essential. Um, yeah. For more rubies and sapphires from the catalog of Jean Carn, see the directory of albums by American soul artists linked in the description below for red hot tracks and purples from all the albums I mentioned, plus like the others, her whole entire solo catalog from 1976 to 1986. And then you can go over to the year lists, the year directories to from 71, 72 to see the Doug Carn albums. I can't remember if I put his catalog in the jazz funk directory because I don't think, no, because it's not really electric. That was more for like electrified jazz. Um, and yeah, and he was more kind of, I hadn't really assembled a directory for spiritual jazz or like free or like post-bop of the era, so that would just be in the year directories, yeah. Like and subscribe and follow me on social media, and leave a comment if there are any observations that you have about the two tracks we just heard, the layers, the nuances, the epic sweep of it all, the production, and most importantly, the wonderful vocals of Jean Carn, her range, her ability to go from high to low to mid-range and just effortlessly and just be in full command the whole entire time. Yeah. And until next time, this is Zaragon, the world's most air-traveled Trimax signing off.